Hi everyone, this is Jen Blue. How are you? Welcome to this space. I like to start off these videos just kind of with a quick um, background, a little bit about me. I am an energetic dynamic facilitator. Um, it's what I'm calling the work that I do, at least currently. And essentially what that means is I look at the dynamics that are playing themselves out, within a realm, you could say, or within reality. So what's happening, really? That's what I look at. I look at what's happening. I look at what are the different aspects of what is happening. What can we tune into in order to understand perhaps things that are playing themselves out on a deeper level. So the deeper layers of reality, many of us exist in this like surface reality where, we take things at this surface level and it essentially kind of allows us to hold um, that reality in place, right? That we're existing within. But it's not true reality, right? It's only a very small piece or fragmentation of the whole picture, of the whole thing. You could put this in the example of, let's say, you as an individual you're getting some pain in your right side, let's say, and you go to the doctor and the doctor looks at your symptoms, right? He just looks at looks at your symptoms and then maybe prescribes you some medicine. But there's really no looking into actually, well, what's actually happening, what's actually going on, and how can we perhaps adjust and correct certain perhaps you're sitting too much. Perhaps you're not getting enough exercise. Perhaps you're not eating, and your gut, you're not eating the right foods for your body, and your gut is, telling you. But what we're doing essentially is we're giving, number one, to talk about the dynamics of the situation. Let's say when we do this, we're giving our power away to an outside source. We're giving our power away to the medical system. It's not just the doctor, although you are, but you're also giving your power away to the medical system in place, right? So here in the U.S., we live within a certain medical system, which is not creating health or wealth or abundance within individuals or for families. It's not designed to truly support the whole individual. It's, a for-profit system. And it just is, right? It just is. Whatever your feelings are within that, that's fine. But we're talking about what just is, right? And then once you're able to kind of establish what just is, then you can start to work with what is in order to create your own framework in order to change things. Because it is not up to another person. It is not up to something external to us. The government's not going to save us. The U.S. medical system is definitely not going to save us. The world is not going to save us, right? Who's going to save us is us as individuals, taking responsibility for ourselves and taking responsibility for ourselves within a collective whole. Right? This is not toxic individualism here, because there is something called toxic individualism, but there is a way to hold individualism within a greater whole, and essentially hold a shared collective reality and be able to make collective decisions, right? But within that shared reality, right? If we have people that are existing in false reality and they don't have all the information that they need in order to make to see the whole picture, then that's not helping anyone. It's not serving any justice, any higher cause, any greater purpose. It's so we want to, so my mission, my goal, my desire here to step in is to share the reality. What is happening here in order for individuals to begin to perhaps break free of that old reality that they may have been existed in, where they may have thought this or that was true because of things, but to help them to see, all things happening at once. And within that, all things happening at once, and releasing that attachment to believing in some outside source or power going to, no, it's about you working within the whole, based on what is just happening, letting go of blame, letting go of negativity. It's time that we just let that go and step into the space of empowerment. And I focus primarily within, I live within America, so I will talk about issues that are congruent with America, but we're all facing this as a world, right? We're all facing this pandemic as a world, and we're all in different locations, and we're all experiencing different things, and we're all within different structures, with different systems, and it's up to us as humanity, right? Each individually within wherever we are at, in order to rise up and to create change. Or not. I mean, it's just a choice, right? So that's just a quick 7-minute background about me, but also talking about the space that I come from. So what I want to talk today, and then also just a little bit of extra background. I worked for the federal government for 11 years. I worked in Homeland Security. I have a deep, deep, deep knowledge and understanding of the way things work and the way information flows. And I held positions that were central to information flows. I worked within watch centers, right? And that position is something I hold here now. I am standing watch. I am standing watch as an American citizen, as a patriot, as somebody who has taken the oath of office, as somebody who has taken an oath to uphold the Constitution, and something that I believe in. I believe in that, that Constitution, right? That self, right? That what constitutes a self? Right? What constitutes an individual? What makes up that individual? What does that individual stand for? Right? And I stand within that space of integrity and alignment, and not just sitting back and allowing, there was this quote that I used to pass. It was up on the wall in one of the locations that I worked at, and it said, "The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing." And that is something that I hold within me. That space of truth, right? Truth. Because that is the truth. The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. And so rather than, expecting all these people out there to, all these men or women or whomever to do the good work, I choose to do the good work myself. And it is up to every single one of us as an individual to step into that at this time. To truly step into our light and to share what we know and to share the truth and to share from that space so we have a voice. so our voice is heard, right? It's no more hiding behind the scenes and hiding in the shadows and bitching and moaning and fucking complaining about this or that. No, it's time to step in. Step into that space that you are meant to occupy. Take up that space. Take up your light. Take up your wisdom. And to hold to a higher truth and a higher honor, right? To honor yourself within this. To honor yourself within this. So that is a space that I come from. And I want to talk today about understanding Trump as a rogue leader. And, you know, this is a very complex issue, and I'm just going to touch on it. And I want to leave this space open for individuals to, you know, share from a place of respect. Perhaps if you may, I want this to be a safe space for people to work through things, to work through their understandings. That's my desire, but this is also this is facts, right? We're not going to get into lies or manipulations other than breaking them down. So, and that's, you know, and that is, I can hold space for that. You know, the manipulations out there, the way things have been distorted or the way things have been manipulated or twisted or abused, right? Because that is Trump's nature. That is his nature as an individual. He is a, you know, Machiavellian. You know, he's got Machiavellianism going on. He's got narcissism going on, and this is within him. Right? This is how he operates. This is not coming from a space of hate. This is coming from a space of awareness, of intelligence, of understanding, of putting things into context and things into place within wholeness, right? Not discounting, oh, psychology, oh, it's just bullshit. Come on. Are you going to really just discount all these different things just to keep your false reality bullshit going? That surface reality. If you truly want to move deeper, if you truly want to know the truth, you have to go through these layers. You can't discount them. You can't just hold on to that small little reality that makes everything else fit perfectly for you. It doesn't work like that. You have to take everything and you got to sort through it. That's truth. That's how you discover the truth. Right? That is how you yourself look at what is happening, looking at the facts. You know, you go through your own process. It's like, you know, investigative work, intelligence, analysis, however you want to look at it. It's a process of distilling the truth, right? Things are just raw. They are just happening. And then it is up to the individual to seek truth, to seek justice, to seek fairness, or not. And that is a process of looking at, I mean, you look at, like, let's say our justice system. What do we have that makes up our justice system? Other than the judges and, you know, let's say law enforcement, et cetera, we also have laws, regulation. We have all these things that make up, right, the system. The system in place that those who are in the, you know, legal system, let's say, use in order to implement justice, in order to implement the law. Now, you can abuse the law. You can abuse your power, and that happens every single day. I have bared witness to that working for the government. I have seen it with my own two eyes. I have battled it. I have spoken out against it. I have spoken up. I have said, no, this is not in alignment with things, right? But it still happens, right? It still happens. And, you know, and eventually I was just like, I ain't fucking living in this fucking bullshit. And I laughed. Because I knew that I could serve a greater purpose outside of that system as an individual here to facilitate change. So back to this, Trump is a rogue leader. Okay, so let's look at what he's doing currently with this executive order that he just signed in. So he essentially bypassed legislature, bypassed the institution that we have in place that has been implemented by our founding fathers. Right? This is there for a reason. Right? Our founding fathers, without getting into some of the extenuating circumstances here, let's just look at this. They established the system of government, having borne witness to tyranny, oppression, all these things that they witnessed within the British rule. And so based on that, what did they do? They founded America. They declared independence from this rule, British rule, that they found tyrannical, that they found oppressive, and they wanted their freedom, right? So they established America. And they established the American Constitution and the American government, specifically to serve the purpose of retaining these freedoms. Now, without getting into the whole, well, it's established by white men, serving white men. Let's not get into that yet. Let's just talk about these facts, right? Let's keep some of the other aspects out until we get there. So and this is to serve a purpose, right? So the retaining these freedoms. Now, these men were wise. You know, they held integrity within who they were, and they all were different. And that was what was so unique. Right? You had all of these individuals who all had their own thoughts and their own belief systems and their own ideas and their own feelings and everything. They all had their own stuff, and they all came into this greater union. They all came together in order to, you know, talk about these things that were happening under British rule and to establish a new order, right? To establish democracy, to establish America. And that is what we celebrate on the 4th of July. That is America. Without getting into the shadow side, because there is one, and we need to also come to terms with our own injustices within this country. But to label yourself as a true American, as the patriot of this country, and then to support Trump is an illogical fallacy. They don't match up. They don't match. So that is, no, not going to happen. You are upholding a rogue leader somebody who has absolutely zero respect for this country or its institutions or anything that this country was built upon. He is only interested in power and control, staying rogue, remaining rogue. He holds no accountability for himself, so he has no integrity within himself. Everything he does is to stay in power. And the reason that he desires to stay in power, other than because he desires to stay in power, because it fits his needs, let's say, but it is also to evade accountability for his actions. And without getting into certain areas, let's talk about his criminality, right? He is purposely evading law enforcement. Now, how is this? Okay, so let's talk about this book, The Room Where It Happened by John Bolton, who's the former National Security Advisor of the United States, who's a conservative, who would speak on Fox News very often, part of the Republicans. Okay, but from what I gather, a very integral individual, holding his own system of integrity within himself. A good man, a good man who holds to something, right? Something. I'm not saying that I'm agreeing with everything, or his positions or anything like that. We're not gonna go there, but he does, right? He's an integral guy, okay? Without getting into his politics or anything else. But he specifically lays out his experience working with the Trump administration from his experience, from all of the interactions. And you can, at least from my perspective, you can clearly see, you can get eyes in. You can see into the situation. If you're able to get past your own biases, your own stuff, right? And that's the key here. How do you see things clearly without holding on to your belief system, your biases, everything that you need that holds your reality in place, right? Because that's not true reality. True reality is being able to see everything that is happening all at once and exist within that, exist within right relationship within that. So how do you as an individual exist within the whole? Do you see? How do you hold your integrity within the whole? How do you even come into who are you as an individual? And what part do you play at this time? Independent of the bullshit and the false reality. Because it's not, giving your power away to some external figure as the savior, right? No, it's about us as a people, right? Coming into our empowered nature. So anyways, this book, essentially he lays it out and he says, Trump's, he's got it coming, right? He's got it coming and he's evading it. And that's why he wants to stay in office. And it's as simple as that. And when you have a rogue leader who is willing to stop at nothing, including colluding with Russia, putting our nation's sovereignty at risk, making deals with foreign leaders, That doesn't sit well to me. That doesn't sit well to me. Where is our sovereignty as a nation? When he is essentially selling us out as a country in order to stay in power. And you are supporting him. This QAnon bullshit, believe me, I'll be going into that. We will set up a timeline. We will look at things objectively, not from a political lens, because that's not what we're doing. This is not going to be political. This is going to be within the sense of what is happening within relationships and how things are connected and what is the origin point of these things and what happens next and what is the timeline and what is the background. And we're going to start getting into detail about all these different things so we can start breaking it down in order to build the actual functioning reality here. In order for each individual to then, to break free, right? To break free of whatever they were holding on to in order to make, their own individual, come into their own individual spaces and understandings, and then connect to greater wholes in order to create more change. At a very foundational, fundamental level. Because the truth of the matter is that, our government was designed, the government has limited power, and you are seeing that currently, right? We truly hold the power. We truly hold the power. And if we are able to tap into that power, at this time, and to use it, to truly create change that serves the whole, that takes all of these individual perspectives into understanding and into consideration. This is not about, this is about inclusion of all, right? Of all. And something that is really important to understand is America is not exceptional. We must also go through our dark night of the soul. We must also go through our shadow. We must also come to terms with our darkness here as a nation. Right? We are not exempt. We have darkness within our country. We have evil that came in. It's, this country, we have our own demons. And each of us as individuals have our own demons. And until we are able to come to terms with our own demons, our own inability to truly seek truth, to truly come into harmony with truth, because we have to tend to these aspects. And just as anyone else, I have had to as well. And so I am here to facilitate change for individuals, to facilitate the ability to see the truth just as it is, truly, wholly, and fully, and completely just as it is. So I think I want to stop there because I want to keep these videos to under 30 minutes. But, that's a quick introduction to Trump. Understanding Trump as a rogue power at this time, and, just recognizing that first step, right? Recognition. I work through the model of, you must recognize, right? Then you must heal, and then you must recover from it. So we must all recognize Trump as a rogue power, and operate within that reality. It's as simple as that. Operate within that reality. And it's all, all this truth is coming to the surface, but, last legs, all this stuff is going to be, we must all do our part, right? We must all step in order to really hold some stability here, Those of us who hold this light, those of us who hold this understanding, how we are to operate at this time. So I will leave you there, sending you all so much love, so much capacity for change, and we're all in this together, and we're going to get through this. We're going to get through these dark times, and truly be able to come from this space of understanding and compassion, as well as this whole picture, right? Also standing guard, standing watch. There used to be this saying, like when I worked in the wash centers, it was always not on my watch. Democracy will not fall on my watch. I will not allow a tyrannical rogue power to overtake this country and to manipulate people that I love and that I care about into believing something that is simply just not true. And we must all seek the deeper truth here at this time to come into a greater harmony. And to end these cycles and these old dynamics, to no longer allow these old power and control dynamics to remain in power and control. And this goes also for the sex trafficking, right? All of these things, sex trafficking, child trafficking, these are all dynamics, and they are so complex. You cannot go out and get your bullshit QAnon information and think that you are doing justice to the cause, and we are going to talk about that as well, because that is necessary to understand that energy being put to disuse, misuse, that is being manipulated and pulled into the directions that remember, everything is energy, energetic, dynamic, facility, everything is energy. So we're going to pull our energy away from that, and we're going to put our energy into where we truly hold light and where we can truly make a difference and create change. And I leave you well. Until next time, toodaloo. Namaste. I was going to say two at the same time.